Hey everybody, how's it going? And welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. So we have some pretty scary numbers coming out of the state of New York right now in regards to red flag orders being issued. Now, this should concern anybody who lives in a state that has red flag laws, because the number being issued in New York right now has grown exponentially. We're talking about astronomical numbers, going from double digits to triple digits and higher. I mean, you would not believe how many are being issued. So if you want to know how many are being issued per month in New York right now and why, stay tuned, because this could affect your state as well. Now, before we get started, I want to thank you very much for watching these videos. I really do appreciate it, trust me. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button, that little bell notification. It only takes a second. It helps me out quite a bit. And check out the main sponsor of this channel, which is the USCCA. With your USCCA membership, you get things like self-defense liability insurance, which is priceless, reciprocity maps, magazines, online resources like education, training, and what to do after an event. So again, thank you for watching. Check out the USCCA. Let's get to it. Okay, so let's go and talk about what's going on here. So back in May, Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York, signed an executive order that forces the hand of law enforcement. It basically says that anytime law enforcement has an interaction with an individual and they suspect that that individual could be a danger to themselves or others, they then must file for an ERPO, which is an extreme risk protection order, also known as a red flag. Well, what did that do to New York's numbers? Well, prior to June, so May and prior, the average number per month of these ERPOs being ordered was about 45. So you're seeing about 45 red flags per month. What happened after Kathy Hochul's executive order? That number grew to over 400 per month. So now New Yorkers are facing over 400 new ERPOs per month, which comes out to well over 2,000 since June alone. Now, try and keep in mind that the person who is having this ERPO filed against them doesn't have to have any prior knowledge that it's actually happening. So the law enforcement officer goes to court, they fill out the proper paperwork, they fill out the affidavit, they go before a judge, and the judge determines whether or not to issue that order. Now, the person, again, just sitting at home has no idea that this is happening until law enforcement knocks on the door, relieves them of their privately owned property, and also relieves them of one of their constitutionally protected rights. So in my opinion, this whole thing is totally unconstitutional and it's being abused, but it's also totally unfair because the law enforcement officer, believe it or not, gets to bring a state attorney along with them. So the law enforcement officer and a state attorney could go before the judge to argue why this order needs to be issued, while the person that it's being issued against is just sitting around having no idea what's going on. Once they actually do find out what's going on and they go to court to try and prove that they're not a danger to anybody, well, guess what? They're not allowed to bring an attorney. So the state can have an attorney, but they can't. The person who is being ordered against has no idea till after the fact. I mean, this is wrong on so many levels. Now, try and keep in mind this could happen in any state with red flag laws. I mean, all the governor would have to do is issue an executive order very similar to what Kathy Hochul did, and you would see the numbers do the exact same thing. They would grow exponentially almost immediately. And so that's why we need to make sure that this ends up in front of the Supreme Court, because people are losing due process, they're losing their rights, they don't have any right to representation. I mean, they're basically stripping everything away from an individual without their knowledge. And then after they actually have knowledge of the event, then they can try and fight to get these things back. But one thing you want to keep in mind is that in a lot of cases, people never get their stuff back. And when they do get their stuff back, it might be years later. A lot of these laws have some type of regulation or stipulation in them that say that the state can hang on to this stuff for, an extreme amount of time, a long period of time. So this is just another great example of why you should always let an attorney speak for you, and don't speak for yourself. You have a right to remain silent, because sometimes, even though you think it's perfectly fine, the things that you're saying are good to go or they're on the level, no problems whatsoever, you never know if one of those words or keywords or something is used that could set off some type of an alarm, and you don't want to give that up. So best thing to do is just stay quiet if possible, and wait for a time where you can get an attorney, or just say, look, I'm not going to say anything without an attorney present. So like California, again, this is another thing coming out of the state of New York that I wanted to make you aware of. I also want to thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, and have a great day.